Hello, my name is Stephanie for Découvert, and welcome to the Valentine's Day Shadowbox card tutorial. Here we will create this romantic alpine scene, just as lovely during the day as it is at night. You could also resize this larger if you like and add foam spacers to insert into a wood shadowbox frame. If you go this route, see my other shadowbox videos for assembly ideas. You can also choose to create a lit or unlit version. You can ship the unlit version flat to your Valentine. I've included a file for a pretty envelope and Valentine to write or stamp a sentiment. The lucky recipient will be able to place it next to a bright lamp or in front of an LED votive. I think this file could also double as a lovely wedding card. You can easily change the color theme perhaps to all white with a pearlized cover or silver cover. You could add rhinestones and other embellishments. Just so many possibilities to customize this project. The 3D SVG files, along with other paper crafts, are available at my website, www.decouvert.com. So without further ado, let's get crafting. Okay, so here I'm just going to go over the scoring for each layer. So for your cover layer, for this piece here, I've already glued it down, but what you're going to do is it's going to be a mountain fold, okay? And then the rest of them are all going to be valley folds, okay? So every single one after that will be a valley fold, okay? So go ahead and do that, and then we'll go off to the next step. Okay, so here we have the cover of our card, and I've gone ahead and I put the I glued down the sides. Okay, so you're just going to line that raw edge up with the score line and glue that down. I used glue tape for that, so you're going to do that for both sides. And here is our bridge layer with our cats, and I'll show you later how to glue them on. And then here I have this is layer 2. And I've gone ahead and I put the sidewalks piece on and the balcony piece. And here the sidewalk piece is what I've done is I've lined up this mark here, this corner here, and then lined this up, okay? It's a little bit easier to get that right if you do it that way. And just glue that down. And then with the balcony, I just put a bit of glue with a toothpick on the top railing and the bottom railing, making sure that I'm lining it up with the bottom of the windows, and the corner of the balcony lines up with the interior of that last window, okay? And then here is layer 3, and I've added my sidewalk piece once again aligning that corner here first, and then gluing it down. And then here, again, this other little balcony piece, you're gonna again apply it with toothpick at the top and the bottom railing, again lining up that corner of the balcony with the interior of that last window, okay? So, and then here we have layer 4. It's already white, so we don't have sidewalk pieces for that. And here is layer 5, and again, another sidewalk piece. And then here, there are 2 layers combined, okay? So we have our, so this is layer 6 with the Duomo in the background. And what I've done is I've glued layer 7, okay, which is our river layer. I've glued that to the back of this layer. And what I did first of all is I glued down some vellum to the back of the river layer. And I just added glue just to the perimeter here. It's still not dry. You might want to use glue tape so it doesn't buckle, but as long as you keep the glue within the perimeter here, it's going to be hidden by the other layers, even if there is some buckling. Okay, and then, of course, then I glued the entire layer to the back of this, of layer number 6. Okay, and I just tacked it down here, 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 a little bit here, the bottom, okay? Don't use too much glue for that, okay? And then we have our mountain layers. So mountain layer 1, so this is going to be actually layer 8. And then we have layer 9. And here we have our sky layer. And I went ahead and I, again, added the vellum piece to the back, just gluing it around the perimeter. And what I did before gluing the vellum is I ended up poking little holes with a pin just to make some extra stars. Okay, you can see that. You can see those little pin marks there. And how I I put the mountain pieces in front while I was doing this, just to get a sense of placement, you know, where to put them all. So I just continued along with my pin and just poked holes, and then I added my vellum. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then we'll go off to our next step. Okay, so here I have layer 1, and I've glued down my little cats, my cat cutouts, to the back of the bridge. So you can use photos of the project as reference or arrange them how you like, but this is how I did them. I just sort of put them in the place that I liked, and then I went ahead and I just took a little bit of a scrap piece of paper and put a little bit of glue at the end there, and just I went behind this knob here of the bridge and just put a little bit of glue and then glued that down, a little bit of glue behind there and glued that down. And you could put a little bit in the middle if you're finding that it's not really holding properly. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then we'll go off to our next step. Okay, so here I have layer 1, which is right side up. You can see the cats. Okay, and here I've got the cover, which is the wrong side up. Okay, and what I did is I lined up the raw edge of layer 1 with the score line of the cover layer. Okay, you can see that right here. And glued that down using glue tape, or you could use glue, but use it very sparingly. Let that dry if need be, and then I'm going to flip it over. Okay, make sure that's nicely folded here. And you see this is unfolded, and you can see where your score line is. You can line up that raw edge with that score line. All right, and you're going to add your glue, making sure you got to make sure that it's absolutely accurate. Put glue on that tab, okay, sparing amounts, or use glue tape, and then you're going to close it down and rub that down. Okay, go ahead and do that, and we'll go off to the next step. Okay, so here I have layer 2, and once again I've lined up that raw edge of layer 2 with the edge of the bridge layer. Okay, made sure to line it right up butt against that edge. Okay, glue that down, and then you're gonna flip it this way, close the side here. Okay, and this is nicely folded here, and you're going to put your glue or your glue tape on there, and you're going to make sure that that raw edge here is lined up against this edge here. Okay, making sure that it doesn't get caught on this little area here. Okay, make sure it really lays nice and flat. Line it up. You can almost peek through the windows to see, kind of around here, to see that that raw edge is lining up perfectly against that other layer. Okay, and then just smooth that down. Okay, make sure that it's nice and flat and it's not buckling. Okay, so go ahead and do that. We'll go off to our next step. Okay, so I went ahead and I glued down layer 3 in a similar fashion to layer 2, and double checking that it's got some movement here. Okay, that it's laying fairly flat, it's not buckling too much. Okay, and what you'll do, and you'll be doing the same thing with all the next layers. Again, this is layer 4. Again, you're going to be lining up that raw edge with the previous layer edge, and also making sure that you're flush here this way as well. Okay, making sure that you've got it nicely aligned and flush on these, on the top and bottom. Okay, so again, you'll glue that down, you will flip it over, and then again lining up that raw edge with the edge of the subsequent layer. Okay, all right, and you'll keep doing that all the way through right to your sky layer. Okay, so So go ahead and do that. We'll go off to the next step. Okay, so here, I just wanted you to be aware, just a few tips here, just to make sure and double check that your layers are always about 1/4 inch apart. Making sure that that raw edge is butt up against the previous layer. Okay, and you can just take a look and take a peek inside and making sure that you've got that all properly aligned on both sides. And also be careful when you're folding this back and forth and manipulating this, that you're not squishing your delicate bits here, like for your, of course, your cat tails as well. Be careful as you're doing this that you don't squish them. Okay, so just keep going and we'll go off to the next step. Okay, so here I have a piece for the back of the card. For those that are not putting the LEDs in, you just want to be able to ship it flat. So what you're going to do is, it's basically, this is the same piece as this, exact same, okay? And what you'll do is you'll just mount and fold along those score lines, and then you'll add a piece of vellum, and it'll be the exact same template as the one for the back of the sky layer, so use that one. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to put a little bit of glue around the perimeter here and tack that vellum down, okay? And then once that's dry, then you'll just add it, you'll just glue it down to the sides here of your card, making sure to line up the raw edge with the score line, okay? And just glue both sides down, okay? And of course the recipient, they're going to be able to place this in front of an LED votive or in front of a bright lamp, and they're going to get a very similar effect as to, if you had lit it all up with the LED string lights. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and we'll go off to the next step. Okay, so this is the back of the card, and this is the backing for the card if you're going to be lighting it up with LEDs. So I went ahead and I've mountain folded along those score lines. And then what you're going to do is you're going to glue that rectangular piece to the inside. Okay, just glue that down nicely. There's a bit of ease there, just make sure you have it aligned properly. And then we'll go off to the next step. So here I'm just taping the LEDs to the back panel, and I'm just sort of snaking around. I started it over here. Yours will have a little hole here for the wire. But anyways, I just continued on, and I just sort of taped them around. Every once in a while I would take this piece and put it behind my card just to see how the lights were shining through. And maybe you want to have more lights behind the moon, or maybe around some of the windows or whatever. And just make sure that none of these lights are sticking up. If they are, just tape them down, because that'll create sort of hot spots in your scene. So just continue, just keep taping them down. And then we'll go off to our next step. Okay, so I'm just gluing down my back panel with the LEDs, so the back of the card, and I'm just lining up that score line with the raw edge from the side pieces, and you'll just glue that down, and you'll do the same to the other side to close it up. Okay, making sure that your battery pack in the hole is towards the bottom of the card. Okay, so here I'm just attaching the battery pack to the back of the card, and I've just placed some Velcro on the back of the battery pack, and this is the opening, so you can access the opening relatively easily. But what I do recommend, though, is this is quite heavy, so I do recommend you use rice or seed lights, and they're usually powered by a coin battery, which is a lot smaller and a little bit more discreet, but again, you can use this if you like. And you'll just sort of stick it down here, like so. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then we'll go off for our next step. So here are the pieces for the envelope for our Valentine's Day card. And what you're going to do is the piece with the curved top is just going to mount and fold along all these tabs here, along the score lines. And you're going to mount and fold up here, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn this one around, and you're going to line up the tab on the bottom, the raw edge with the score line, and then just glue that down like so. Okay. And you're going to glue down the edges as well. Okay. And then what you're going to do is for a flap, you're just going to glue that down, just line up those corners here, and then just glue that down. You can also do a little bit of inking if you like, add a little bit of dimension there. And once that's dry, then what you can do is just at the top here, just add your, just glue it down here onto that tab. Okay. And then what you can do, it's optional. So I got a little Valentine included with this. So you can just center that white heart on the pink one. And then if you like, using the cutouts from your flap, you can just sort of arrange them nicely here. Okay, and glue that down and insert that with your shadow box card. Or again, you could also add these little hearts here, or just save them for another project. Okay, and of course the card will fit in like so. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then go off to the next step. So we've come to the end of our project. I'm very pleased with how it turned out, and hope you are too. I look forward to seeing pics of your completed cards to display in our web gallery. It's always fun to see all the different versions and ideas. If you enjoy this project, don't forget to subscribe and visit my website at www.dickandver.com. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to craft with you again very soon.